Hi everyone, and welcome. We're going to be talking about Ageotypes and the impact on your aging. It's based off of a Dr. Jocker's article on Ageotypes and the unique aging response that we have. If you have any questions, please feel free to text Dr. Udani at 437-702-2112. So Dr. Udani is our naturopathic doctor here at Justine Blainey Wellness Center, and she is a passionate warrior in the health field, in natural health care field, with special interest in lots of a variety of different subjects in areas of health, including women's health and digestion, chronic pain, skin, stress, and your metabolism. So we wanted to welcome Dr. Udani here today and thank her so much for the insights that she's going to bring. Help me welcome her. Take care.
Thank you so much, Angela. Good evening, everybody. So we have an exciting talk coming up tonight, but I want to just quickly touch upon some of our talks that are upcoming. We have an interview with Dr. Peter, chiropractor, so that's going to be a great introduction to him. We have a Dine with Doc event coming up, Healing from the Inside Out, in person at a local restaurant. So the registration is required for this event. If you're interested, please call our front desk team. And there's also going to be a talk about rheumatoid arthritis and natural support therapies, and about overcoming autoimmune conditions by balancing your hormones. So lots of really interesting talks coming up that we hope that you join us for. So today's talk is quite an interesting one, Ageotypes and your unique aging response. So let's dive right in. So there's a difference between biological versus chronological aging. So biological aging is the natural process of aging and how it impacts our cells, tissues, and organs. But with biological aging, you might notice that just because you are a certain age, you might not look it, So let's say you are 40 years old, but you don't really look 40. Or if you are 60 years old, but you don't really feel 60 or act 60, like your body doesn't feel that age. Same can happen the opposite way too, where you might just be 25, but you don't feel 25. You feel much older, a lot more tired. You just don't feel like yourself. So biological aging is that natural process of aging. Chronological aging is the actual time we have been alive as measured in years, months, and days. So we can't really change chronological aging, but there are ways that we can potentially change and improve and slow down our biological aging. So there are three types. So the biological aging, like I mentioned before, is the natural change to your body that undergoes through the aging process. This can affect your vision, hearing, dental health, your joints, spine, digestion, and like I mentioned, some older people just feel great. Like for example, my dad, he is 67 now and he is still super active. No, nothing. Yeah, there's no major health concerns that he just feels like, he always says that he feels like he's 20 years younger. And sometimes and that's because the biological aging, his biological clock isn't as it's not accelerating. And healthy diet and healthy lifestyle can really help slow down signs of biological aging and help you feel good until old age, because our age limit, or the average age, has been rising and rising for the past decades. We're living for longer. So we really want to optimize how we feel, even in our 70s, in our 80s, in our 90s, right? Second type of aging is the chronological aging, which is the time, right? The time it takes for you to become, go from 26 to 27, 28, 29, 30. So it's the having that additional candle in your birthday cake. So this tends to be the primary way that people tend to define their age. But it's sometimes it can also help us determine our risk for chronic health issues, things like hearing, vision, memory, our mortality, our risk of cancers, risk of developing Alzheimer's, all of those things. We could use chronological aging to vet for that. But chronological aging does not equate quality of life. There's lots of old people that feel healthy, happy, energetic, and they're mentally sharp, even though chronologically they might be considered old. The other one is social aging. So refers to your behavior and your social habits that naturally change over time. Because we acted different when we were children versus when we were teenagers versus young adults and adults, right? So that was like the natural social aging depending on our society and how we're expected to behave in relation to those other people and their roles. So things like social engagement, psychological issues, health issues, and other factors can all influence your social aging. Maintaining healthy relationships with your family and friends, and continuously exploring ways to socially stay engaged despite life circumstances and health challenges can support this in a long way. So staying involved in the community or doing volunteer work or even things like gardening, volunteering at the animal shelter or the library can have a big effect on your lowering your social aging. So 10 signs of aging poorly. So I'm sure you might know somebody, or you might have heard someone where you saw them a year ago and then you see them now and you can see that like so much has changed, and sometimes it's not for the best. So and you can see that they look older, they act older, they seem to feel older too. Some signs of aging poorly is too much fatigue and feeling not having enough energy. Joint pain, that chronic joint pain is also a big sign of aging poorly, because your joints aren't as loose and pain free. Brain fog and forgetfulness, weight gain, bone and muscle loss, postural changes. So for example, my grandpa, as he got older and older, he used to get the hunch, he used to be more and more slouched down. So postural changes can be a sign of aging poorly. Development of varicose veins, tinnitus, hearing loss, vision changes, needing the stronger and stronger prescription lens, glasses. Of course, age spots, looser skin, more wrinkles, and poor sleep quality can all be signs of aging poorly. So poor aging at the cellular level is really because of inflammation. So inflammation over time is going to slowly damage your major tissues. And all of those signs I mentioned before can be signs of chronic inflammation. And when you have chronic inflammation, it is the root cause of a lot of these chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, dementia, fatty liver disease, arthritis. So they're all signs of chronic inflammation. And what inflammation does is it actually blocks it kind of creates traffic in your body's natural detoxing and healing pathways. So it slows things down. And so you feel more tired, you catch more infections quickly, you gain weight faster, and you're wondering, why do I look older than I feel, or things like that too. So aging is one of those key words. So inflammatory aging. So this is where when you have too much inflammation, that's just a low grade every single day, this can really boost up your aging processes, things that make you feel older. So when you age poorly, you create lots of excess stress that's going to further damage the cells and damage your mitochondria, which is your energy factories in the cell that should help you feel better. But because of this inflammation, you don't feel as good. So what can happen with inflammation is you can create these zombie cells which don't respond to the proper biochemical pathways that the body uses to get rid of them. So they can just keep releasing inflammatory markers. They can keep damaging DNA, can actually affect your mitochondria. And so they tend to be these zombies that kind of they just don't die. Your body's natural detox pathway can kill them because of this inflammation. So this will really, really speed up aging as well. So what are some ageotypes? So these are the main biological pathways to aging. So this was actually a study done by the Stanford University School of Medicine, and they found so there are over 87 markers of aging 84 biochemical pathways that can determine aging and how fast you're aging or how slow you're aging. So some of the things that were used in this was also used in this approach called the multiomics, which is a scientific approach to analyze the different factors in biological studies that can affect aging. So you look at proteomics, metabolomics, transcriptomics, and microbiome. So they wanted to find if there were any correlations in all of this that were common grounds, to see how do we age and how does our biological age can increase or decrease. So this is a discovery study on the ageotypes. So the ageotypes there is really like 4 major types which can determine how you're aging and like the pathway of the aging that you're on. And so we're going to go into that right now. So this is basically the personal aging marker study results. They show that, there's gut microbiome has a huge impact on aging as well, especially different species of gut bacteria that can increase inflammation or reduce inflammation. So improved gut microbiome can really reduce your biological age. Weight and weight loss can also impact someone's aging pattern. So dietary changes, the food that we eat, the lifestyle can really affect your inflammation markers. So basically, and then one of the biggest ones is insulin resistance. So with poor diet, lots of sugar, lots of carbs, lack of exercise, you can increase your insulin and cause insulin resistance, which is a big sign of inflammation. Excuse me. So the 4 unique ageotypes, we're going to jump right into them. So these are the ones that the study found has to be the common ones where we can determine how you're aging, because when we determine how you're aging, we can help to slow down that biological aging process. And a lot of people actually will have more than one of these ageotypes, and some may even have all 4 of these ageotypes. So let's jump into these ones. So the first one is metabolic ageotype. So these are the people that tend to have a hard time losing weight. So they might be chronologically, they might be only 40 years old, but they have a metabolism of a 50-year-old. So they might gain weight, develop an increased risk of diabetes, high cholesterol, for example, as well. And so this will, of course, when you have if you're metabolically older than you are, that's going to really increase your biological age. Second one is the immune ageotype. This is the aging of the immune system. So these people tend to get sick more often. They tend to catch infections more often. They might also have a lot more autoimmune diseases, chronic pain, and even potential to develop cancer. They have a risk for immunocompromise and health issues. And so even things like fibromyalgia, things like IBD, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, or even rheumatoid arthritis, they fall into this immunoageotype. Third one is hepatic ageotype. So this refers to the aging of the liver. So this means that your liver health may be declining faster than what your chronological age indicates. So you can have more liver, gallstones, liver issues, fatty liver, hepatitis, liver cirrhosis. So what can happen is when your liver is aging faster than what your chronological age, your detox capabilities also reduce a lot. So it can actually affect all other ageotypes that we just talked about too. Last one is nephrotic ageotype. So this is the aging of the kidneys. So think of the liver and the kidneys are like the two best friends that really help your body detox. And so the kidneys, unlike the liver can regenerate, but the kidneys are very delicate. So like, I'm sure that's why, there's a really high, if you have kidney disease, you need a kidney transplant, whereas with the liver, if you give it the right treatment, lifestyle, there is a chance the liver will regenerate. So kidneys will likely show the aging first compared to other areas. And so some of the things that I, as a naturopath, order with like to check for the kidneys is lab work to make sure it's doing well. And also we do lab testing for checking for your liver, for your blood sugar, for your immune system as well. So it's something that I do, that I order additional testing to make sure that all of these organs are functioning properly. So kidneys don't just filter water. They actually have a huge role in controlling your blood pressure. So if kidneys are affected, you will notice that your blood pressure will increase. It is a huge role in getting rid of waste. So think like uric acid, urate. These are molecules that will result in gout and a lot of inflammatory joint pain, things like that. So the kidneys help filter that out. They help actually increase red blood cells in the bone marrow. And also, of course, we know balances out water levels, balances out minerals. So it's very important. Kidneys are huge organs of filtration, but they're just also very important for overall health. So here are some strategies for healthy aging. So first and foremost is we need foundation, right? We want to increase your anti-inflammatory nutrition in your diet. So this can be simple as having lots more fruits and lots more vegetables, substituting bad fats with healthy fats like healthy cooking oil, things like coconut oil, ghee, avocado oil, olive oil, just eating more herbs, things like herbs and things like ginger, garlic, rosemary, thyme, oregano. They're very high in antioxidants. Having the grass-fed, pasture-raised beef instead of the grain-fed beef, lots of healthy fat, wild-caught fish, and fermented vegetables like sauerkraut, kimchi. They really help with increasing your antioxidants and reducing the inflammation. And the number two is you got to prioritize good sleep. You got to make sure that when you have enough sleep, that is actually when your body undergoes repair and restoration. So having at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep is very important. And some of the things you can do is you want to stop your coffee at least 6 to 8 hours before you go to bed. Create a nice routine, like a bedtime routine, avoiding bright lights, having those blue light blocking glasses or any of those screen protector things. And you do also want to get as much sun exposure too during the day, because it actually really helps with increasing your body's natural melatonin. So good sleep is very important. And actually, I do see a lot of patients that have trouble with sleep because of their high cortisol or high stress. So finding ways to lower stress, lower cortisol is something that I do with a lot of my patients too. Number 3, like I mentioned, reducing stress and practicing gratitude. So gratitude is a wonderful practice that really helps you makes you feel grounded, first of all, and makes you feel happy for all the blessings that you have in life. You get more energy and optimism. You'll also tend to be less stressed by life too, because you're less bothered by if anything's going wrong. You're not feeling irritable about it or angry about it. You're in a more positive mood, to be more compassionate and help others, and less materialistic and more satisfied with life. So one of the things that I love to do with gratitude is I start every day with an affirmation that I say, I am so grateful for all the good things that are going to happen in my life today. And then toward the end of the day, I write down 3 things that I was grateful for that day. So it really does help to practice gratitude, because when you practice it, that's when it becomes second nature. And then soon you realize that you don't even need to practice anymore, because you're automatically thinking grateful thoughts. Number 4, regular movement and exercise. So movement is very important with when you want to slow down your biological aging, because it really improves circulation, helps with detoxification, and oxygenates your tissue and your muscles and your brain, and improves your mood and happiness. Great way to reduce tension and stress in the body, and enhances your clarity and memory. So just moving your body, even if you are working for 7-8 hours a day and you're just stuck in an office, try to have a standing desk, or try to take a few trips, or when you're going to grab some water, for example, instead of going right directly, just go around other offices. Try to get some movement into your life as well. So some tips like that will go a long way too. Number 5 is resistance training. So having good muscle mass as you get older is a huge marker for health, because we tend to lose a lot of muscle mass as we get older, and we need our muscles to, of course, keep our joints healthy, our body healthy. It helps with losing weight as well. And it also increases your resistance to mental stress. So high intensity interval resistant training is a great way to do this. And we have lots of talks on how to do this properly. Daily intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is an amazing way that your body gets rid of unwanted or unnecessary and inefficient cells. And so it's one of the things, like the zombie cells I mentioned earlier in the talk. Doing intermittent fasting can really help clear your body out of it. And it does increase your resistance to stress, and also helps with reducing inflammation. And with what we want to do with intermittent fasting is have you want to start small, especially if you work night shifts, or if you're under a lot of stress already, or if you're feeling burnt out. Please speak to a healthcare practitioner first before trying to do long-term intermittent fasting, because ultimately it could actually become a stress. So you also want to be careful with intermittent fasting. So number 7 is healthy relationships and laughter. So laughter is amazing. It's so important for increasing your mood, or helping elevating your mood. It stimulates endorphins, enhances creativity, and it actually boosts anti-aging hormones, and it makes life more enjoyable. So having healthy, grounding, intimate relationships with other people and having laughter is another great strategy for aging, because I'm sure you might have watched those videos where you ask really old people the secret to getting older and staying so young and so vibrant and youthful. And a lot of them say that because they either were grateful, or they had a lot of laughter in their lives, or they just didn't stress that much. Number 8, so these are some of the things that can help with supplements for metabolic ageotypes. So now, if you are interested in taking these supplements, please consult with a naturopath or a nutritionist first to see which ones you might need, because you might not need all of them. So things like omega-3 fatty acids is always great for reducing inflammation. N-acetylcysteine, really good for liver support. Curcumin, ginger, boswellia, berberine, cinnamon. These are things that you can, these are herbs that you can incorporate into your diet, but they're also very strong supplements that can further help with reducing inflammation too. Usually when patients come see me, I ask them to bring any supplements that they take, because then I can give them a lot more advice, like individual advice, because you might not need all of these supplements. For the other ageotypes, we can use, for the immunoageotype, things that really boost and balance your immune system. So vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, quercetin, resveratrol, selenium, N-acetylcysteine, and probiotics can go a long way. With immunoageotypes, it is probably very wise to get tested first to see where are your autoimmune markers, how is your vitamin D levels doing, how is your zinc doing, which is something that I do, because you also don't want to overdo it, because then you might get a autoimmune flare-up, can happen sometimes. Selenium It's an amazing, amazing mineral that is really very good at reducing inflammation, very high in Brazil nuts. Resveratrol is found in grapes and berries and also found in wine. It's also really great at reducing inflammation too. And for hepatic angiotypes, this is where we want to really support the liver and protect the liver and help its functions. So herbs like milk thistle, mushrooms like cordyceps or reishi, dandelion root, beetroot, choline, taurine, and tudka, which are tudka and specifically is a bile salt that can take some of the stress off of the gallbladder when we are doing this. So once again, like I mentioned with all the other Ageotypes, you do not need to go on all of these. You might not need all of these. It's important to do a consultation with a naturopath to see which one works best for you. And for the nephrotic Ageotype, this is where we want to support the health of the kidneys. So a lot of herbs tend to do that, things like horsetail, juniper, cranberry, parsley, barberry, bearberry, milk thistle, hydrangea, and uva ursi. So these tend to be, they tend to help with increasing the kidney function and also protecting the kidney, and also can also help with reducing kidney stones. So with these ones, once again, if you have some kidney problems, you're probably most likely taking some blood pressure medications. So, or cholesterol medication, things like that. So this is where you really want to have a naturopath on your side, so that way they can tell you exactly what is safe to take. And so there is help. Absolutely. There's so much help to aging well. So the Ageotypes are things that can help you figure out where you fall in or where you might need some additional support, because biological aging can be slowed and can really help you feel way younger than your chronological age if we support the body and support these Ageotypes. And the biggest thing here is, as we get older, what we want to do is we want to reduce our risk of health issues, but we also want to be there for our family, right? We want to feel good, think good, have a good quality of life, and have good energy as we get older. So that was our talk on Ageotypes, and I hope that was very informative for you. We have some upcoming webinars. We have an interview with Dr. Peter coming up. We also have a talk, a Dine with Doc, Healing from the Inside Out, that's coming. We do need registration if you're interested in joining this talk. All about rheumatoid arthritis and natural support strategies is coming up. Same with overcoming autoimmune conditions by balancing your hormones is coming up as well. So I hope you enjoyed this talk and got a lot of information out of it. If you would like to connect with us, or if you have any feedback, we're always open to having ideas, and please feel free to give any response to that as well. Have an amazing evening and take care.